So this channel has always been about products that I really like using and basically topics that I really like to talk about. And today we actually have one of these. We have the Panasonic G100, which I've been using for almost 3 weeks now. I'm going to tell you all about my experiences with this amazing small camera. Let's begin. So I hope you enjoyed this short clip. I'm going to do the world's quickest unboxing, as you can see. I have the camera over here and I already installed the Lumix G strap. Now I gotta say one thing just before we even begin. I'm a heavy user of the Panasonic Lumix series. I have the Panasonic G85 and I also am currently using the Panasonic GH5S to record this video. I have around 6 Panasonic lenses and 2 of them are Panasonic Leica or Panalleica. So I'm deep into the system and I really like that system. So seeing this guy come around and actually being labeled as the ultimate vlogging camera kind of got me interested because I have a lot of videos of me speaking to the camera. And if you don't know what vlogging is, it's basically doing video blogging, like holding the camera like so. And by the way, if you're for the first time on this channel, feel free to click on the red subscribe button down below so you can see my future videos. And on this channel, besides talking about the Panasonic G100, I talk about unique and innovative technologies, and I think this one definitely fits the criteria. So click on that button so I'll see you on my next video. I have the kit version, which comes with the 12-32 lens, stabilized lens, and stabilized is important. We're going to talk about it in a moment, but before we do, let's just go outside to the nature and try out the camera. So hi there, welcome to my trip. And I hope you like what you're seeing. Basically, it's a good time to start traveling around where I'm at. And we have a lot of rivers and as you can see, a lot of nature going on, lots of wildlife. And in this trip, I'm taking the Panasonic G100 with me. And I'm not taking any extra accessories. That means that I don't have any external microphone. What you are hearing right now is the audio that comes straight out of the camera. And while I'm talking to you, there's like a symbol that says on the screen, on the monitor, the tilt-out monitor, that basically the sound is recorded via the front mic and it's configured to capture me. So this is a new mechanism that we are seeing here on the Panasonic G100, which is manufactured, this specific system is manufactured by Nokia, and I think it's going to do a good job, but you'll tell me in the comments below if you liked it or not. So today I used a lot of the new features on the Panasonic G100, including this slow motion, as you can see here. Now I currently own the G85, which doesn't have slow motion features, so I'm quite happy to see that in action. As you can see right here, it's just using slow motion to take pieces of captures of nature is a beautiful feature, and you want to use it whenever you can. All in all, also we get all the old features. That means we have the tilt out screen, which basically helps me to see my current frame. And I'm currently recording at 1080p resolution, 25 frames per second. This is not the best that this camera can do. It's limited to up to 30 minutes in this recording mode, but I can change to 4K and actually record up to 10 minutes. The only thing about that is that we'll see a crop in the image frame. So let's switch to 4K and see how much it crops in. Okay, so this is in 4K, and as you can see, we cropped in a bit more. I actually think that with this specific lens, which is the 12-32, I would really probably put the camera somewhere and film myself and not use this as a vlogging camera. It is a bit too tight for my needs, but I do have the 8mm from Panasonic Leica, and I also have the 10-25, and I think these will do a better job handling these situations. However, they don't have image stabilization on them, so in the end, I'm not capturing myself most of the time like this anyway, so I don't really mind. But if you are doing that, you will probably need to find some solution to get the camera a bit farther away if you're going to film yourself at 4K. At 1080p, you can upscale the image, and then you'll get, I think, for my taste, a better solution, because you'll get more more of the scenery. We are limited in the end by this crop that we get on 4K. For me, it's not the biggest feature. I like most of the time when somebody either films me or that I put my camera somewhere and I can choose the frame by positioning myself. So I'm not the kind of guy who usually holds the camera. Okay guys, so this is how it looks like when somebody actually holds the camera and films you. I actually like this even more, and most of the time I'm either using a tripod or getting somebody like Nadav, who is currently holding the camera and filming me. One of the things I like about the 12 to 32 is that I have optical stabilization on it. Nadav, can you tilt the camera a bit so we can see how it works? That's good enough for me most of the time. Usually when I do make videos and I have somebody filming myself, this optical stabilization on the lens will get the job done. Please make note though that we are still using the onboard audio microphone and not an external microphone, just letting you guys see how much audio can we get while still having winds and other external noises. So there are three things I really like about this camera, and the first one is its weight. This is 412 grams, and if you are vlogging for a long time, you do know that getting to 1 kilos, which is where you're gonna see the GH5, or if you're using a different system, obviously you're gonna pass the 1 kilo. The 1 kilo mark is kind of hard to vlog with. You can barely hold it for more than 10 minutes if you are as weak as I am. So when I heard this is 412 grams, I was like, whoa, I can actually record 10-minute videos without any problems just by holding the camera. This camera also can be purchased with the grip. I don't have the grip, or the grip that actually Panasonic made for this camera, which has the built-in record button and also a built-in tripod. So that's also an interesting upgrade for people who just want to use this as a hybrid or really compact vlogging camera. One of the things that I really like about this lens, the 12 to 32, is that if you basically turn it into 12 millimeters and then turn it all the way, it goes back in all the way, and this is actually pocketable. So 412 grams, and can also go into your coat pocket or a small bag. I love that. We get all the features we are used to from Panasonic, including some that really are worth mentioning. First of all, the flip out screen, the flippy screen, is a huge thing. As you can see here, we have it on all of the other Panasonic Micro Four Thirds sensor-based cameras, and for me it's a must. That's why I got into the system a couple of years ago for the first time, just because I saw the flip out screen. So we also have that, so we can see ourselves when we are basically recording, and that's a huge thing you want to have when you are recording yourself. I gotta say that many of my videos are done like this. So for example, when I do record myself, almost always I kind of use a tripod or just place the camera somewhere, because I feel like at least in the recent year or so, holding the camera and moving, even though we have stabilization here, it's not something that I like doing. I kind of feel like I don't have control over the things that happen around me when I do that, and I can't really control the frame. So as you're seeing right now, the camera is placed on a tripod, and usually that's what I do even when I go to film events, for example. So the second thing I like about this camera coming from the G85 is that we finally have slow motion features here. That means we can record at 120 frames per second, and it just looks amazing. I got a couple of films that I made. I got huge attention on social media just because I captured the right moment with the right camera. So it's a huge plus. I didn't have that on the G85, and I really like that we have it over here in a compact camera. But the big thing for me here is the fact that this is an interchangeable lens camera system. That means that we have the option of using anything from the Panasonic lens lineup. And it's a huge thing if you're already invested in that lineup like I am, because I have some amazing lenses, and using these lenses with this camera is gonna look sometimes kind of weird if I'm talking about the 10-25, which is kind of huge, and I'm actually using it right now. But with other lenses, for example, the 25 Prime 1.7, it's a cheap lens, it's amazing. You could easily put it over here and get amazing quality of videos and photos. So I love that fact, and for me it's a huge thing. When using this camera for the last 3 weeks, I always thought about that, hey, what lens should I use today? And that's a thing you don't usually have with a compact mirrorless camera like this one. This camera also has a bunch of new features like the Nokia Ozo audio system, which basically means that the camera has an array of microphones, 3 microphones that can identify where the sound is coming from, whether to track it by using the focus system or actually record audio from the back part of the camera and so on. This camera also has USB charging capabilities, and remember we talked about vlogging setup, you really want USB charging. So for example, if you already are vlogging, you probably carry with you a portable USB battery, and having that is basically enabling you to charge the camera. And I had a single day where I didn't take any extra batteries. I just pushed the charging plug all the time back in and recharging the camera. So I had the battery for one single battery for an entire day of filming, and I easily recorded more than 45 minutes of 4K video. And I love that fact. I don't have that on my other cameras like the G85, but having it here is amazing because you don't have to carry a billion batteries. You can just, whenever you go for a lunch break, for example, just charge the camera using the power bank that you have on you anyway, and you're ready for the next recording session. So I talked a lot about a bunch of things, but I didn't talk about the actual specs yet because I really wanted to tell you guys about my experiences. But in the end, we see here that we have a 20.3 megapixels sensor, a micro four thirds sensor, and this is a camera on the micro four thirds lineup of Panasonic. So in the end, you're getting a really good sensor here. I like the photo quality that I got off this camera. I had a bunch of pictures that I took of some of my nature experiences on my last trip, like you already saw, and I was really excited to share them because the quality was so good, and having a 20 megapixel sensor just means you can crop in a lot and specify the correct frame for your photos even after capturing them. You also get the entire Panasonic menu system and features. That means that you already have here the 4K photo mode. You can easily take short videos and then extract photos from these videos easily just by using the 4K photo mode. And you can also just transfer the photos to your phone by pressing on this button. And like in many other Panasonic cameras, these are also function buttons. That means that you can reconfigure them on the Panasonic menu system. So it's a huge thing, and Panasonic has that on basically all of its cameras from what I saw here. We have a bunch of function buttons here on the top. We have the menu-based function buttons. So there's a lot going on here for you to preset the camera if you have your own specific setup and actually change the way that the camera works. One last thing I want to talk about is the limits that you do have on this camera, and there are some limitations by using it as of its small size. First of all, if you really like bigger cameras, you're gonna feel that when you hold this camera. I like the way that the camera feels, but in the end, as you can see, my pinky is kind of outside, it's not holding anything, so it's something you'll have to get used to. And the button scheme is kind of different if you are used to the G85 or the GH5S. But you do get used to it. I kind of miss the back wheel that I have on the GH5S, but you can get used to it. I think they changed it with this wheel with the back toggle buttons over here. It has the same functionality in the end. And in the actual way of using the camera for recording videos, for example, you'll have some big limitations, including recording limitations. That means that in 4K, you'll be limited to 10 minutes video recording, and in 1080p, you'll be limited to 30 minutes. It's kind of a big deal if you are recording long 4K videos, and if you plan on recording your next lecture, for example, if you are like I am, doing lectures on the side to make money during this whole COVID-19 crisis, you'll be limited to 30 minutes in 1080p recording. It might be a big deal for you if you plan on recording for long sessions, but usually in vlogging, we almost never record more than 10 minutes anyway. So all in all, after 3 weeks with this camera, I'm very happy to tell you, I'm loving it. I think that like whenever I left the house, I had another opportunity of thinking about my next lens that I'm going to install on this camera. and my experiences of recording with this camera, whether it was for events, not big events as we live in the COVID-19 era, but still some events that I had get-togethers with family. And also in the end, I did record my nature trips as you just saw, and I loved everything that this camera produced. So like always, I'm putting links in the description of this video for you to click on if you want to get more information about this camera setup, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely subscribe and click on that red button so I can see you on my future reviews and you don't want to miss my next video, believe me. I also have a couple of recommendations for you to watch over here and another one over here. Click this to subscribe to the channel. I was Rotodil. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.